Watch this. No way!
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Cookie Jar Golf Podcast, brought to you in partnership with FootJoy. I am Tom Mills, and today I'm joined by Sam Williams for a preview of the PGA Championship at Valhalla. Sam, welcome.
Tom, thanks for having me in the office today. Yeah, no, it's delighted to be here. I don't feel like we've used the office that much, or I haven't. I feel like you've used it sufficiently.
I've used it every day for about 4 months, yeah. Just so we haven't podded much in it, I don't think, so...
No, it's a joy to be in here. Absolute joy.
It's good. I'm not feeling very well. I'm quite tired.
Are you not?
No, I'm on the back of... I've got this 40-day whooping cough.
Oh.
Yeah. My kids had it. No,
is that like diagnosed, or...
It's just a cough
you
that
just
will
diagnosed
not
it?
relent, and it lasts for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Run down.
But it's only when I lie down, so I can't sleep.
Okay.
Which is part of the reason I'm a bit cranky.
Would you say you're not feeling the joy?
No, I always feel the joy. I've actually transitioned in life, so I've transitioned.
What to?
To the spikeless traditions.
Yes.
I have transitioned, so I'm still feeling the joy.
I haven't played in mine yet. I've had some of the new spikeless traditions.
Yeah, no, they're good. Obviously, they're a bit lighter than the premiers I've got. That have got the spikes on, but sun's out. Blackwell's looking glorious. So
Life's good, isn't it? I mean, every golf course is just looking absolutely minty right now. It's almost like last few weeks, as you would say, Tom, 'twas ever thus. A warm, wet spring has yielded some quite nice course conditions. So just a quick word on FootJoy, though, before we do depart there. Have they got a little collaborative release coming up today when this podcast will be launched?
I believe so.
I think they've got the Todd Snyder collaborative launch.
Is this the PGA shoe?
Yeah, obviously Kentucky. Apparently, there's a thing called like a what is it? A Mount Julep? Is that right?
Oh, good.
Have I pronounced that correctly?
No idea.
It's like a Kentucky cocktail or something.
I would have thought they would have gone with something to do with the Derby. That's the only thing I know about
mint
Kentucky, though.
Julep, a mint julep cocktail, which is a Kentucky thing. Apparently, well, I say apparently. Checking it out, it's bourbon and basically everything else you'd make a mojito with. So it's a bit like
So it is a mojito?
With bourbon. Whereas a mojito would be rum, wouldn't it? So
we'll see the players trotting out the new FootJoys, are they premiers?
Yeah.
Premiers, Fields and Wilcox.
Mm-hmm. They do nail it, don't they?
I always like that. Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert, we happen to have seen a future one, and they are always good. Yeah. They're always good. They obviously we were involved with the production of the Hoylake shoe. Not the production of it, the filming of it. We didn't produce it.
Christ, that's
we helped produce the film for the Hoylake shoe last year, which is the green one that we filmed up in the Hebrides. So, they always do a very good shoe when it comes to the majors. I just think
they nail it. Like, of the collaborations in golf, the collaborative Premier range they put out are absolutely next level. So,
it's another one of those things as well that I do feel extremely lucky to be with FootJoy because it's such a minty brand.
It's just class. It's just absolutely class. So, life couldn't be any better. But those do go on sale on the evening of the 14th of May. 2 pairs up for grabs. 2 different styles. Move quick because these things go like hotcakes, don't they? So anyway.
There must be an aftermarket for these limited edition shoes.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the gnomes from Augusta, isn't it? Or whatever.
Do they have their own gnome?
Well, the gnomes are a big thing at Augusta, and I think they were quickly appearing on eBay and stuff for like 500-600 quid or something. I don't think the club were too happy about it. So yeah. Thomas, PGA Championship. Before we get there, how's your golf? I saw you doing some FPV droning of Blackwell.
An old toy.
For someone who has no understanding of an FPV drone, what is it?
Essentially, it's a drone without any of the mod cons of a drone, and you wear goggles. So FPV, first person view, you wear goggles, and as it turns left, your whole thing turns left. If you watch someone doing it, they look like they're kind of swinging all over the place.
Do you look like Anakin Skywalker when you're doing it?
Yeah, it's not a good look, I must say, but I'm just playing with it. I'm very frightened of it. I'm just playing with it at the moment. Did some bits of Blackwell, which I put on the story, went down okay. Quite interesting stuff. I don't know whether I'm going to continue it. I was just kind of scratching an itch, as you would say.
Charlie, who used to work for us, sent a message saying, "Is Liv going to Blackwell?" ? Because they max out on that stuff, don't they?
They do a lot of
It's very punchy.
They do a lot of FPV stuff.
Do you know what would have been a great collab for this podcast?
Liv?
Whoop.
Yeah, unofficially sponsored by Whoop.
Tom is not lying down, but he is still coughing. Right, Thomas, let's get into it.
Before we do,
what
do you know of Valhalla? And I'm not talking about the golf club.
If I'm honest, very little.
I'm not talking about the golf club.
Okay. This is like a Nordic term. Is that right?
It's Norse, yeah. Norse mythology.
Okay.
It's described as the majestic hall located in Asgard. Now, those of you like your...
Say that again.
It's a majestic hall located in Asgard. For those of you that like your Avengers...
I was going to say, is that not like Harry Potter or something?
No, yeah? Avengers. That's where Thor lived. And his father Odin. And that was all in Asgard. And Valhalla is presided over by the god Odin. Half of those who die in combat end up in Valhalla, while the other half are chosen by the goddess Freya to reside in Folkvanger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And presumably this is like a dramatic name that Nicholas chose when any idea why the club's called Valhalla?
Absolutely none.
It's quite strange, isn't it?
You got 50% chance going there if you die in combat, if you believe in Norse mythology. And for those of you that want to really link it up with your Avengers stuff, which I don't mind a bit of Avengers in my life. The masses that killed in combat, known as the Einherjar, along with various other legendary Germanic heroes and kings, live in Valhalla until Ragnarok, which I believe is like the end of the world. Also a Thor film. When they march out of the many doors to fight in aid of Odin against Jotnar. So there you go. That's what Valhalla is. What it has anything to do with a place in Louisville, Kentucky, I've got absolutely no idea. But
what a strange one.
Yeah, Valhalla.
Bizarre. See, I don't know that much about the place. Clearly, it's had a couple of major championships, which we'll touch on. 3. Absolutely. And also a Ryder Cup, which is actually what I associate it more with, if I'm honest. Well, 2008.
Yeah, 3 PGAs, 2 senior PGAs, and a Ryder Cup.
And the PGA champions have been Rory, Tiger, and then I couldn't name the third. It's an obscurity, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Mark Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, he would be, for our British listeners, if you watch Pointless, he would be a pointless answer for PGA champions.
Yeah, he would,
squirrel that away just in case you watch that. That takes nothing away from his win. For our listeners overseas, pointless answers, basically obscure answers that no one else would guess. So,
yeah, decent show. Shame about the presenter.
But I suppose that buried within that is a sense that, yeah, I mean, certainly if you look at Tiger and Rory, and when they won there, best players of their generation.
Well, and the senior winners were Hale Irwin and Tom Watson. So decent winners. Do you know what's interesting about the Tiger win? Do you know when it was?
2000?
2000. What happened in 2000?
Tiger Slam.
Yeah.
It
was part of the Tiger Slam.
And that would have been the last one or the first one?
No, yeah.
That was the first in it, because it used to be at the back end.
Yeah, he didn't do it in a calendar year.
Yeah, no, that's right. It was capped off with I think it was finished with Augusta the following year.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the penultimate one he won. Let's not dwell too much on that.
Let's not get that one wrong. But
obviously
it was the third in his
his
Tiger Slam.
Because
run.
The PGA was always played until the last couple of years, I'm going to say. Out in August, it was the last major of the season. And I suppose bringing it into now begs a big question. Tom, is it the weakest major?
I think there's no doubt it's the weakest major. I think it's a major. Look, I can't tell you what's a major and what's not a major. It's a major. It's the one I've got the least interest in. I don't know why. Obviously, the Masters is kicks off the season. It's iconic. It's amazing. The Open is the Open. It's the only one that's like links golf. The US Open is always going to be the US Open. It's, try and, I don't know, they moved away from it a little bit, but, try and keep it to par, hardest golf challenges there are. And then the PGA is always, 20 under. And
I'm not sure it is. I think in recent years it's been stiffened up a lot in terms of the challenge. And my expectation of Valhalla and what we're looking at as a golf course there is that it's going to be a very tough test still. But it does feel a bit like, I don't know. Well, it feels like a bit like Wells Fargo 2.0. This, like
Mark Brooks was 11 under when he won. Tiger was 18 under when he won, and Rory was 16 under when he won at Valhalla. Now we've watched an every hole fly through, which is available on YouTube, just as kind of before we came on, and it looks nails hard.
Did you do the droning for that?
No, I didn't. I would have gone slower and a little bit higher, but no, I didn't. So it looks really hard, but the guys are, what can I say? They're good at golf. So,
yeah, I mean, I would say the course looks like you'd have no fun as an amateur there, like absolutely no fun. You're going to get absolutely beaten up. But when you were talking to friend of the pod, in fact, last year's spring meeting winner, Matthew Reed, Quail Hollow, like he's like, that course is nails. Like it's so hard, you've got no idea. And yet you watch Rory shoot, what did he shoot? I say 60, wait, okay, forget the 7 or whatever at the last. But I mean, he was on for a 63 or something, wasn't he? He says it's absolutely nails.
Yeah, I was texting with him last night. Matthew used to be the assistant pro at Quail Hollow, so he's got he's lived it, he's got a decent idea of it. And he said so hard. You've got no idea how hard that golf is. And they all, I mean, to be fair though, Rory was like, I don't know what he finished. Was it? He was 19 or
17. Did he?
Yeah, so he finished at 17.
2 back 4. 17 under.
Xander was like 12 or 13, and then after that it was like 7, 6, 5.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. It was just 2 guys ran away with it really, and at Quail Hollow. But
I just feel like this event just seems to, particularly maybe it's partly the elevated or the designated event or whatever we're using this week. But it feels just like a rinse repeat of last week, like that's, you back it onto something like the Wells Fargo where it was quite a good field. It's quite a good venue. It's quite a good PGA Tour event. It's like
this.
But
you don't get the PGA pros.
Clearly. And you've been suffering with 52 weeks of withdrawal from Blocky.
Yeah. Oh, I love Blocky. Blocky's my hero.
There's a faint twinge of sarcasm coming through here. You're not a fan of the... Is it Blocky or is it the sycophantic behaviour towards Blocky?
And then he's kind of then self-sycophied himself. Like he almost worships himself. That, hey, Rory, did it go in? Did it go in? And it's like everyone's going crazy. And he's like, I have this hole in one. He's like, nah, get out. Did it go in? It's like, fuck off, mate. You watched it go in.
You knew full well
you knew it went in. Everyone knew it went in. And then he came off and he was like, well, he was this hero. And that's all fine. I've got no problem with it, with having an endearing charm of being this PGA pro that's done really well. In fact, I love it. That was great. But then within 2 minutes, he was turning up on Instagram every 5 seconds trying to sell me Coca-Cola. And I'm just, look, I don't need it. I don't need it. And the big storyline of him being like, oh, yeah, so you've just earned what you would have earned. That's like 5,000 years of teaching. He's like, he's never taught a day.
He never teaches. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I don't do that much now. He's got like an exceptionally good gig as a...
He's an amazing player.
He's a club pro he's a tour pro in Club Pro's clothing, isn't he?
Yeah,
in some ways.
He's almost like a throwback to old Tom Morris. He's a club pro. He's actually there just going out like winning tournaments and earning dough.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to find out. I mean, look, I don't know, maybe I don't have quite the same disdain for Blocky that you do, but I do find it difficult. It's like, it's just too much. Like, it is just too much. Before we move on with this, I feel like we need some predictions going into Valhalla.
Like I had a really good 46 weeks of my year. The 3 weeks after the PGA were quite intense with the Blocky stuff.
And
46 weeks of just calm. And then the last 3 weeks I've seen it again, which has just ignited this rage within me again. It's like, yes, we know. Like, I know you did really well last year, and like you were in the group with Rory, and you did great, and that's amazing. But just dial it back. Just play it cool. Just play it cool. You know.
Would
and
you be cool?
Blocky. He refers to himself as Blocky.
Does he?
Do you remember at uni when
you
seem
to be getting served more Blocky content than I am?
Well, yeah, the algo just knows that I'll bite it. You know, I eat it all up. You know, at uni when Facebook first came out, and you put your nickname as your middle name. So, but even if your nickname was like the same as your surname, it'd be like Tom Millsy Mills.
Yeah, okay.
That's how I feel about Blocky. He's like, he would be like,
it's Blocky Michael Block, isn't it?
Yeah, Blocky Block. It's like, oh.
Who gives you the ick more, Blocky or Charlie Woods?
Well, Charlie's gone off my radar for a little bit, which is quite good. I'm not being served up Charlie content. There was a month
there was period. A time where you were.
There was a month period which I was also had the ick with Charlie.
What was it specifically that gave you the ick with Charlie Woods?
Well, did he try and qualify for the PGA?
I thought it was the US Open. I
don't
think you can qualify for the PGA. In fact, no, you can by being a club pro. There's like regional tournaments and they take a top few. It was the US Open, yeah. Because PGA is not an open event, you know?
Yeah, Charlie Woods, look, going back to a previous conversation, it's so difficult to live up to the pedigree of an elite parent. Excuse me.
Great tie into. When was that podcast?
That was like the last one we put out.
Was that last week's podcast? Yes, it was. Crikey.
And like I feel for Charlie, like I really do, because it's got to be difficult. Your dad's the greatest golfer that's ever lived, arguably. The other one designed this golf course at Valhalla, and but you never got the impression that Tiger Woods was hitting drives and waving after it, going like "ta-ta," you know. It's like Tiger was so much better than that.
Big time, didn't it? It was the waving at the drives.
It's like Tiger was so much better than that. He was just like, if he did anything brilliant, he acted like he expected to do it brilliantly.
It was just business, wasn't it?
It was just what he did. None of this showboating and like it's
snapping the club back.
And it's like, dude, okay.
Yeah.
But you haven't earned that yet. Your dad's earned it. If he wants to do whatever he wants to do, he can do it because he's amazing. But you haven't earned that yet. You know, that's what winds me up.
So back to the question.
I'm sorry.
Blocky or Charlie Woods?
It's a really bad night's sleep. My daughter's kicking me in the head and all sorts. And I've got the whooping cough. Sorry.
Not brought to you in partnership with Whoop. Blocky or Charlie Woods?
Oh, it's got to be Charlie Woods.
Okay, so Blocky's number 2 on your room 101.
I hope Charlie just ages into it, you know, matures into it. It's got to be so difficult having a camera in your face from such a young age, everyone hyping you up, saying you're going to be the next best thing. I can kind of see it. We were all immature, just I didn't have a camera in my face when I was immature.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Blocky's a grown man. In fact, I'm going to take it back. Blocky's a grown man. He's been through that.
Okay, I love that. So you've talked it through. You're giving Charlie Woods a pass. Blocky's on your hit list. Right, we're going to finish out with a very quick take on what you expect to see from Blocky this week, and then we're going to get into the meat of the discussion because this feels like therapy for you. Do you think he'll make the cut? I mean, that in and of itself is a hell of an achievement.
So. I hope so. I hope it makes the cut and acts really mature about it, and then we don't see him again. But I wouldn't hope missing the cut on anybody. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So I hope he does make the cut. The
setup looks not dissimilar to Oak Hill.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nails. There's a lot of really tough golf holes out there. But I think when you look at it abstractly, all these holes they play are tough. They're just so good at golf. When you step out of being Rory McIlroy and hitting the ball 330 yards through the air, it's really hard. If you hit the ball at average length, these courses are unplayable. But I'm sure they'll do really well.
I think you will get another level of respect for Blocky if you see him make the cut, finish well, quietly go about his business this week. If he showboats round 1 and 2 and misses the cut, I feel that's going to be fuel on the bonfire for you.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, let's move on. So,
who's his big sponsors? Do we know?
Pass.
Wasn't
it a gate? Wasn't you say it was like a Gatorade thing?
Oh well, it was everything. Like the reason I mean, he's got 270,000 followers on Instagram. I mean,
that's understandable.
Yeah, but I've got to let it go, haven't I?
I think you have. You're holding on to it.
I'm just looking at a picture of him in one of those. We should have a moment on these, these hats with the big letters on. They've just got like, I don't know. This particular one's got Raw written on it, but they're just like, there's usually 4 or 3 letter words. They're just massive. Like they're the rage now. Why are you looking at me like I've got 2 heads?
Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Those hats.
Oh, okay.
With a huge writing, huge block capital writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those hats need to go on the 101 as well.
Okay. Well, anyway, we will come back to your therapy in a minute. I've got another question for you here. What would be a better 4th major championship if it wasn't the PGA? Because I think the PGA is a really good event.
Who decided it was a major?
Well, I honestly don't know. It's a major of the modern era, isn't it? So it's post World War II. It was a match play event until 58, I think.
It was Arnold Palmer that coined the modern Grand Slam.
The modern Grand Slam,
as opposed to obviously the US Am, the amateur, the Open, and the US Open in the sort of amateur era. Arnold Palmer was the one that kind of coined up together the PGA, the US Open, the Open, and the Masters. But I don't know who decided that. And what precedence it is to be a major, other than someone said it's a major and it is.
Mm. I mean, I was on the phone to James Day, friend of the podcast, a bit earlier. And he was like, the thing is, this is what you get when you let players run the show. And I don't know whether there's any truth in that.
He likes a rant, though. He's worse than me.
Yeah, he is. But he did make an interesting point. He basically said, look, if the RNA took over the Australian Open and breathed new life into that, that could become like comfortably one of the best tournaments going in a year. It would fit nicely as a 4th major championship.
I think this goes
I don't think that's wrong.
I think this goes back to the global view of the game that Rory McIlroy has been touting, and the PGA has fought for so long. Though I think you could have an Australian Open, and it could be there could be multiple places in Australia that could do an Australian Open really, really well.
Yeah,
and it would expand the game. And you'd have some, and this, we're just looking at it from an elite architecture point of view. You could do somewhere in other parts of the world, which equally could be a major. It's just whatever we say it is, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I just think the backdrop of those venues would be exceptional. I think there'd be really good golf course. I think they would be great events if the best players in the world played them. But the truth is, they snub them. It's a tricky time zone. There's not the support to play in those events, which I think is a great shame because, look, Clates will talk about it. Funny enough, actually, with Clates at the Addington tomorrow, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be interested to get his take on it. But
should he have an opinion?
I think, whatever his opinion will be spot on.
Yeah. He'll have an opinion, though.
I just, a little bit of me thinks, okay, that's a possible contender. Is Sawgrass a better event? I'm definitely more amped for Sawgrass than I am for the PGA. So I just think it's an interesting one. It is a major, and ultimately that's what gives it the focus that it deserves. It's got to be something. And
it's an interesting one because its USP, I suppose, is the fact that it has PGA Pros, and it is the event that's run by the PGA of America.
But only PGA Pros of America.
But I mean, they've got no chance of winning, really, have they? It's not like you could say that about amateurs, but I suppose there is a world where an amateur could win. Where you think with PGA Pros, if they were good enough, they wouldn't be PGA Pros.
Well, you've got.
I don't know.
There's basically two. There's open and closed events, aren't there? And the Open and the US Open are opens, as the name would suggest. Anyone can apply to play in those.
That's entirely true.
Well,
you need a handicap of.
Yeah, you've got to be. Yeah, but it is open to amateurs and it's open to professionals. Is the point, right? Yes. Whereas the PGA is not. There are no amateurs in the field. It is professional golfers, and by being an event by the PGA of America rather than the PGA Tour, club professionals they have a number of spots allocated to that. And Augusta National, that's an invitational. Now, yes, there's some precedent there with people who will achieve greatness on an amateur and professional footing and things that will get them into that. But it's fundamentally a closed event and it's invitational. So they're not all like that. I don't know. I quite like the nature of opens. You know, I just
the PGA. If I was a professional, you'd at least want to win the PGA, wouldn't you? That being said, if you had a PGA, you'd be chuffed to bits. But like, I think if anyone being honest would prefer an Open, US Open, or a Masters.
But it's not like a half major. Like under no circumstances.
No, because
half
you are a major winner. You win it. You're a major winner. It's like it is. But there is just something about, us as Brits, you'd love to win the Open and you'd love to win the Masters.
I'd be happy with the US Open as well, for the record.
So, yeah, well, but like
if you did a straw poll of 200 top flight professionals and said which major do you most want to win, you would probably have the full gambit of those three. You probably would have. I'd be staggered if anyone said I want to win the PGA.
The only thing about it's the Wanamaker. It's so big.
That's a crazy trophy.
It's so big.
Yeah,
that trophy is the size like of a house.
So there we go.
So it's got that going for it at least.
Quick course takes from this is pure armchair pundit.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Quick course takes.
You're the one who's written notes on this, so tell us about the course.
Well, I've written stacks about it. I mean,
you wrote the sixth hole.
I feel really, really like, it's not a venue I've got any sort of real association to or have watched a lot of golf at. Ynyslas, it feels like the epitome of Ynyslas design. It's, it's huge, sprawling. I mean, the length of the course is crazy. There's a huge number of.
You're going to love Valhalla.
If you love dog legs, you're going to love Valhalla. I mean, it looks brutal. It looks absolutely brutal test of ball striking.
There appears to be a lot of approaches with no miss. That being said, there's some drives with no miss as well. But there appears to be a lot of approaches that you're like, oh God.
But it's on like a near 500 acre piece of land. And I think one of the tricky things when he was building it, I don't know what can be tricky about 500 acres. I mean, you've got plenty of space. Can you imagine building a course on 500 acres in Britain? It's just unthinkable.
Well, I think Royal St George's sits on about that.
Maybe but today, like imagine having that land. But I think the land was originally a mix of floodplain, some sandy ground, and pylons.
Lots of pylons.
Yeah. So routing it around that was like the challenge. And I think I read somewhere there was like over 50 different potential routings table before they picked.
Really?
It's almost like going to
it looks
a
like
big
it's got
supermarket and just being overawed with the amount of choice you've got.
Oh, I know. It looks like it's got interesting undulations.
Yeah.
Certainly not a flat venue.
Well, I think Ynyslas it's very fashionable today to bag Jack Nicklaus design golf.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, right? However, for an event like this, it produces a test of golf which is enjoyable to watch because the potential on, what is it? It's like the 13th, the par 3 with a par 4 with an island green. Like there's potential there. There's jeopardy.
That was like the 6th or 7th.
No, 13th's the short par 4 island green. 6, I think, was the par 4 where you drive out to that little slither and then you play across there's kind of water juts in and off the holes a lot. That looks like that's quite an interesting golf hole where you then play back across hugely demanding tests. The 8th looked like a carbon copy of the one at Oak Hill where Blocky slam dunked it.
You like the look of the 8th, didn't you?
I think if Blocky puts another one in there and asks Rory if it went in. But I don't know. I mean, look, it's like we said at the top of the pod. It's not a course that I think, a 10 handicapper is going to derive a huge amount of enjoyment from.
You're going to have a bad time.
You are going to get eaten up. But it continues to amaze me how well these guys play around these places. So,
interestingly, there is potential, completely speculation here, but there's potential this is the last major we see at Valhalla.
Why so?
Well, opened in 1986. In then the PGA of America bought 25%. After 1996, they then increased it to 50% stake that the PGA of America owned. Then they started taking Ryder Cups to it. I think they eventually got it to 100%. to buy it. Yeah, they did, just after 2000. Then they had the Ryder Cup there, 2008. Then they had Rory's PGA.
2014.
Then they recently announced that it was going to be here. And then 2 years ago, on the 1st of June, the PGA America sold Valhalla to some members of Valhalla. So there's some businessmen members that now own it. I do wonder whether that would indicate that they're trying to withdraw their interests from Valhalla. So maybe this might be the last time we see it as a major. Complete speculation, but
yeah, I mean, someone will know the details on that, won't they? But that's a hell of a purchase for a bunch of members to say we want to own this privately. But yeah, I always thought it was a private club. So clearly that's not the case. It was, I suppose, what you're explaining there is
originally
almost
it was private, and then it got bought into more and more by the PGA.
By the PGA, so it was almost like a sort of Sawgrass type thing, or I don't know, like USGA owned Pinehurst.
Well, the Sawgrass is like a TPC, isn't it? But
Sawgrass is kind of owned by the PGA Tour as well, I think. Might be wrong.
Pass.
So yeah. Anyway,
so it could be the last time we see it. So just savor it, because that could be it. What are you thinking? Now,
is it a 3-horse race?
There's a sneaky take here. Who always talks about being? I got to check this now. Who always talks about being from Louisville, Kentucky? Always talks about it whenever he's like,
oh, Tom.
No,
it's on the edge of my tongue.
I've just got to check now because I don't. Yeah, he's from Louisville, Kentucky. Justin Thomas.
Of course he is.
So I think, he might be staying at home this week. It's a home game.
Is he in the field?
Well, he's won. He's got to be in the field.
Yeah, we'll eliminate that bit in the edit.
No, it's all good. He could be a sneaky contender this week.
I mean, it would be quite something, wouldn't it?
Well,
to switch on form that quickly when you just seriously.
But also going back home, spending time with Dad, and
a few mint Julieps, whatever they're called.
Yeah,
I can't see it. I just cannot see it. I cannot see how you can turn up in a week like that and just turn it on. I just don't understand how that's possible. It feels to me like is it more of a 3-horse race?
Are you thinking Rory, Scheffler and Brooks?
I was thinking Rory, Scheffler and Xander. I can't see Xander winning it. I can't. No, Xander looks so like... Yesterday was really interesting watching that Quail Hollow. You thought, God, this is going to be such a dogfight. And then they went through a turn. It was like, how the hell have we ended up here?
Rory also doesn't have a great track record of winning dogfights. It's like...
Yeah, but he played absolutely lights out.
No, he did, like, without doubt. But Xander really didn't want to win. Sounds bad.
He's looked like that before, though, hasn't he? Just, when he shows up on Sunday, it just doesn't look clinical.
There was a time... before the par 3... They both had like 100-yard approaches in the par 4, probably around the 10th or the 11th yesterday. Rory playing in first from the rough, airmailed the green. Xander from like middle of the fairway, kind of left it like 40 foot.
Yeah.
From like 100 yards. And then Xander 3-putted and Rory got up and down. And it was like a huge, like, oh, okay, right.
And then when Rory then made the eagle 10, didn't he?
Sorry, that
picked up 2 eagles on the
11. And then Rory then birdied that par 3 following it, and then he went sort of birdie, chipped in for eagle. You can't account for those things.
I think the weird thing with Xander is it's just like I've said it before. I find him incredibly difficult to root for as a player.
Yeah.
Same as like Morikawa. Really, I just for whatever reason can't quite root for them. He's phenomenally talented. Like, I think Xander's got the longest running cut streak on tour at the moment. He's like over 40 events with cuts. Like, he's almost bulletproof Thursday to Saturday, but he just doesn't look like a killer on the Sunday. So, yeah, for that reason, I'd be very hesitant about him winning this weekend. But the quality of the golf he's playing most of the time is so good that he quite rightly deserves to be in that.
He's actually sneaky long as well. Like in the commentary, they're all talking about like, oh, Rory's got this, and like Xander's not. He's not a million miles off him.
No. He's playing some of the best golf, and he's probably the most consistent.
Just while we're talking about Xander, because he's obviously best mates with
Patrick Cantlay, yeah.
Did you see Cantlay's tweet this week?
Yeah, this is the one you shared in our little group.
It's outstanding. Patrick Cantlay.
I'm
proud to have represented Athene on the course this week. As part of Apollo's ecosystem, Athene has become a market leader in retirement services, fueled by an innate drive to succeed. Their solutions help set people up for success and financial freedom in retirement. Thank you for supporting me in my pursuit of success.
Do you know what I like about that, Tom?
It's indicating he might want to retire soon.
I just think it's really authentic.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that's been written by a marketing guy. You know, it's just very naturally delivered. He's just really activated that well.
It's just...
That
was a remarkable tweet.
Amazing. So I don't know. Look, you know, when you look at Xander's performance in the round, it's like this guy should be right there. He should be, you know, it's very hard not to back him. When you think Rory's probably burnt the best round he's going to have all year at the weekend just gone. And you think Scotty Scheffler's on a couple of weeks layoff here with kid, all that sort of stuff going on. You think he's in an absolute pole position, but the reality is when it matters, you just never see him behave like a killer.
Yeah. But look how quickly you've forgotten about the live guys.
Well, you say that Koepka's defending his crown this year.
Yeah.
So, and he's gone back to back at the PGA before, I think, or was that the US Open? Back to back US Open, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Shinnecock and Pass.
But yeah. What is interesting about the majors now, we've got two different leagues, is it does become really exciting because you don't know how Koepka's going to play and you don't know how Bryson's going to be up against these guys. And they've got plenty of, I mean, Jason Day's playing well. I mean, that would be, I feel like I was in a time machine if Jason Day won wearing clothes like he's from the 80s.
He sort of looked okay, didn't he? Wells Fargo. They dressed him up okay.
Yeah.
He didn't look like some sort of like stupid billboard. Like it looked okay.
Yeah, it looked like real fabrics.
But then you know what's going to happen this week is they're going to put him in all the crazy sort of proof of concept clothing, get as many headlines as they can, maybe. Who knows? But I'm with you. Like Jason Day looks like he's playing well. You've got some of the live guys. You know, Bryson obviously turned up with a surprising amount of form, didn't he, at Augusta? So it will be really interesting to see. Do you think Rory's just going to? Do you think that whole sort of feeling of Quail Hollow, familiar territory? Like, God,
the thing is,
that man loves Quail Hollow. Is there a bit of a thing there with Valhalla that you could channel?
The thing is with Rory, he is like one of the best players alive. So when he's got confidence, he's hard to beat. He is hard to beat. And I think he's not really, you know, he won that thing with Lowry and then he won last week at Quail Hollow and, you know, back-to-back victories pretty much for him, I think. And then, you know, he does well being confident. I'd be surprised if he's not contending this week.
Okay. Give me your 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter where they field and finish in the field. 1, 2, 3. Scotty, Rory, Xander. Who's finishing above who?
Scotty, Rory, Xander.
That's what you would go with?
Yeah. You?
I'd go Xander, Rory, Scotty.
Why? Because he's had 2 weeks off.
Yeah. I just think it's a big moment. I think having a child, I just think the guy's got to be, like, eventually you're just going to run out of keep playing that good of golf. If he continues to perform at that level, imagine if he went and won it, it's like, oh my God, this is getting quite scary now.
Well, he doesn't look like not winning anything.
No, I know, but can you imagine if he won it? Like the Grand Slam is on at that point.
Never done that well in an Open. I think T7's like his best in an Open.
But you've got to think if he's in the final group Sunday, we've got to start getting carried away with Grand Slam rhetoric. And if he's not, I feel like it's just a bit of a, what do you call it?
Damp squib?
No, to the mean. Regression to the mean.
Regression to the mean, yeah. It's just his mean is so much higher than everybody else's.
Yeah, and I don't know. Not sure.
Where are you going to be watching it this weekend? What's your plans?
Well, where am I Saturday? No, I've got a good bit of time at home here. I'm looking forward to watching a lot of it. We're going away Monday, so I mean Sunday I'm going to want to watch it finish. I don't know what the time zone difference is like, but we've got an early start on Monday because we're going down to France. So,
oh dear, I'm at a wedding on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Are you?
Yeah, might have to get back quickly on Sunday.
No one wants to catch the whooping cough though, so you can always get out of it by just saying, "Look, I don't want to pass this on. It's nasty."
Yeah. I'm actually up in Cabot Highlands tomorrow through to Friday. So the first round I'll be watching up in the Castle Cottage of Castle Stewart.
And then you come back, go wedding Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then France
play
for a
ball
week.
for a week.
Yeah, Christ.
And we away next week as well, the week after.
Something like that. Thomas, any other quick takes on the PGA Championship before we get into the week ahead? What about, could you sort of tease our listeners with anything about Wales content? It would feel like a nice way to put a bow on this podcast.
Speaking of Valhalla and Nicholas Designs,
Borth Ynyslas.
If you hang on tonight, you're going to see Borth Ynyslas, which has got shades of James Braid and a little bit of Harry Colt.
Yeah. Great connection with Harry Colt, isn't it?
So a little bit of Harry Colt. And it's one of those places that I wouldn't judge a book by its cover. Certainly with Borth Ynyslas, don't take what you see at first to be what you're getting. It's a cracking little place. And Borth Ynyslas is going out this evening.
What's your favourite film?
And I imagine by the time you listen to this, we'll have 10,000 followers on Instagram. Because we're on 9998 as we speak.
Or what you've just done is provide tacit encouragement for everyone to go and bring us back down.
I've got the best story post lined up for when we get to 10K. But I'm going to do it.
So if we're not at 10K, what you've done there is create some interest in people going away and following us. I'm going to get it to 10,000. Once I do like 10,006, so I know that the story post probably won't lose more than 6, so we're then back down. Yeah.
But I've got the best story post lined up for 10,000.
Good. Just back to the Wales stuff. Not courses, films. What's your favourite film from the Welsh series?
Ooh. My wife liked Abu Dhabi the most because we talked to the historian and she thought that was really interesting. I've turned into a freak. Which one did I like the most?
The film.
Well, which one do you like? I make them all, so it's like
no. Well, that's why I'm asking
your
you.
Favorite kid, can you? So
well, you can.
Well, you pick. What's your favorite one of them?
Possibly Borth.
Do you think?
Yeah. Probably my favorite. I thought Tenby's a good one. To be fair,
yeah,
they're all really good.
Except Tenby.
We would encourage all of our listeners to watch them several times over. Yeah. And even if you're going out for a few hours, just leave YouTube on repeat. Just keep them playing. And
comment. The algo loves it when you comment. And watch all the way to the end. Honestly, you've got no idea how that is.
Whatever you do not start the film if you don't think you can finish it.
After 10 seconds, if you come off, that's catastrophic for us. So
I think Borth. I think that was such a great afternoon spent.
But that's not the question you asked.
But I think the film really nicely portrays it. I think that's the hard thing about being in the film and also then
being the star of the film.
Yeah. You know, I'm not the star of the film, but you get what I mean, right? It's like you can only draw it back to exactly what that was and whether or not that was a true reflection or not. But yeah, I thought the Borth film was really cool. So I would highly encourage our listeners to go and watch
after
that.
Tonight, we're halfway through the series, so Borth Ynyslas this evening.
Okay, there's quite a few things on the to-do list there.
Yeah, we've got to play the reel today.
We better get to work.
Let's go do it. Right, until next time.
Adios.
Watch this.